Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayana Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayam Diriye Nashtaprayeshu Bhadreshu Nityam Bhakta Sevaya Bhagavati Uttam Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtiki. So continuing with the discussion on Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 8, Chapter 16, Executing the Payovrat Process of Worship. Text number 18 onwards. So yesterday we studied how Aditi was lamenting because her sons had gone into hiding. They had lost all their opulence. Bali Maharaj and his team or army had taken over. And then Kashyap Muni saw Aditi lamenting, very morose, and he asked her what happened. And then Aditi explained the situation. And she asked if her sons can get their opulence back, the situation back. Shri Shukovacha, Evam Abhyarthito Aditya Kastam Ahasmayaneva Aho Maya Balam Vishnu Sneha Baddham Idam Jagat. Shukdev Goswami continued, when Kashyap Muni was thus requested by Aditi, he slightly smiled. Alas, he said, how powerful is the illusory energy of Lord Vishnu, by which the entire world is bound by affection for children. Yeah, so even Mother Aditi is not away from this. This is how Maya works. Kashyap Muni was surely sympathetic to his wife's affliction, but yet he was surprised at how the whole world is influenced by affection. Kva deho bhautiko anatma kvacha atma prakrite paraha kasya ke pati putradya moh evahi karanam. Kashyap Muni continued, what is this material body made of 5 elements? It is different from the spirit soul. Indeed, the spirit soul is completely different from the material elements from which the body is made. But because of bodily attachment, one is regarded as a husband or son. These illusory relationships are caused by misunderstanding. And so much of misunderstanding it is caused by, and it creates more misunderstanding. The spirit soul, Atma or Jiva, is certainly different from the body, which is a combination of 5 material elements. This is a simple fact, but it is not understood unless one is spiritually educated. Kashyap Muni met his wife, Aditi, in the heavenly planets, but the same misconception extends throughout the entire universe and is also here on Earth. There are different grades of living entities, but all of them are more or less under the impression of the bodily conception of life. In other words, all living entities in this material world are more or less devoid of spiritual education. The Vedic civilization, however, is based on spiritual education, and spiritual education is a special basis on which Bhagavad Gita was spoken to Arjuna. In the beginning of Bhagavad Gita, Krishna instructed Arjuna to understand that the spirit soul is different from the body. Dehino asmin yatha dehe. As the embodied soul continually passes in this body from boyhood to youth to old age, the soul similarly passes into another body at death. The self-realized soul is not bewildered by such a change. Unfortunately, this spiritual education is completely absent from modern human civilization. No one understands his real self-interest, which lies with the spirit soul, not with the material body. Education means spiritual education. To work hard in the bodily conception of life without spiritual education is to live like an animal. So education really means a spiritual education, not technical education. These days, everybody is working so hard to learn one technical education or other. And then use it for what? Use it to make money. And for money for what? Sense gratification. That's all. So that means, as Prabhupada says, to work hard in the bodily conception of life without spiritual education is to live like an animal. Because animals also go for eating, sleeping, mating, and defending. And spiritual and the so-called technical education and the money one makes through it, whether technical or whatever, political or social, if they're just engaged in eating, sleeping, mating, and defending it, just to live like an animal, it's just like that. People are working so hard simply for bodily comforts without education regarding the spirit soul. Thus, they are living in a very risky civilization. For it is a fact that the spirit soul has to transmigrate from one body to another. Without spiritual education, people are kept in dark ignorance and do not know what will happen to them after the annihilation of the present body. They're working blindly, and blind leaders are directing them. Anda yatanda rupaniye manas. A foolish person does not know that he is completely under the bondage of material nature, and that after death, material nature will impose upon him a certain type of body, which he will have to accept. Cannot say, no, I don't want this body, or I don't want this family, I want this country, I don't want this, no, he cannot say. He does not know that although in his present body he may be a very important man, he may next get the body of an animal or tree because of his ignorant activities in the modes of material nature. Therefore, the Krishna consciousness movement is trying to give the true light of spiritual existence to all living entities. This movement is not very difficult to understand, and people must take advantage of it, for it will save them from the risky life of irresponsibility. So this movement, as Prabhupada explains, it's giving the education, spiritual education, providing them through the books, through classes, seminars, and the temples are there, association is there, so that we can make progress spiritually, not live the life of an animal. And if we live like an animal, next body definitely will get of an animal. Uptishthasva purusham bhagvantam janardanam sarvabhuta guha vasam vasudevam jagadgurum. My dear Aditi, engage in devotional service to the Supreme Personality of God, who is a master of everything, who can subdue everyone's enemies and who sits within everyone's heart. Only that Supreme Person, Krishna or Vasudeva, can bestow all auspicious benedictions upon everyone, for he is a spiritual master of the universe. So only he can do that. Nobody else can. With these words, Kashyap Muni tried to pacify his wife. Aditi made her appeal to her material husband. Of course, that is nice, but actually a material relative cannot do anything good for anyone. If anything good can be done, it is done by the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Vasudeva. Therefore, Kashyap Muni advised his wife Aditi to begin worshipping Lord Vasudeva, who is situated in everyone's heart. He is a friend of everyone and is known as Janardhan because he can kill all enemies. There are three modes of material nature: goodness, passion, and ignorance. And above material nature, transcendent to material nature, is another existence, which is called Shuddha Sattva or Vasudeva Sattva. In the material world, the mode of goodness is considered the best, but because of material contamination, even the mode of goodness is sometimes overpowered by the modes of passion and ignorance. But when one transcends the competition between these modes and engages himself in devotional service, he rises above the three modes of material nature. In that transcendental position, one is situated in pure consciousness. Sattam Vishuddham Sat Vasudeva Shabditam. Above material nature is a position called Vasudeva, or freedom from material contamination. Only in that position can one perceive the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Vasudeva. Thus, the Vasudeva condition fulfills a spiritual necessity. Vasudevam Sarvam Iti Sumahatmas. When one realizes Vasudeva is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, he becomes most exalted. So one has to rise above all these material modes of nature and our education and our association. Everything is in the material modes, but one has to rise above it. And then one as Kashyamuni is telling Aditi, only Supreme Lord, He can help you. Nobody else can. Only He can bestow all auspicious benedictions. And for that, one has to perform devotion service. Paramatma Vasudeva is situated in everyone's heart, as confirmed in Bhagavad Gita. The Lord says, Desham Satativkatana. To those who are constantly devoted and who worship me with love, I give the understanding by which they can come to me. The Supreme Lord is situated in everyone's heart, O Arjuna. The sages, knowing me as the ultimate purpose of all sacrifices and austerities, the Supreme Lord of all planets and demigods, and the benefactor and well-wisher of all living entities, attains peace from the pangs of material miseries. So all the material miseries go away when we understand Him only, that He is the Sarvaloka Maheshwaram, and He is Sarva Suhridam Sarva Bhutanam. He is the benefactor and well-wisher of all living entities. Whenever one is perplexed, let him take shelter of the lotus feet of Vasudeva, Krishna, who will give the devotee intelligence to help him surpass all difficulties and return home back to Godhead. Kashyap Muni advised his wife to seek shelter at the lotus feet of Vasudeva, Krishna, so that all her problems would be easily solved. Thus, Kashyap Muni was an ideal spiritual master. He was not so foolish that he would present himself as an exalted personality, as good as God. He was actually a bona fide guru because he advised his wife to seek shelter at the lotus feet of Vasudeva. One who trains his subordinate or disciple to worship Vasudeva is a truly bona fide spiritual master. The word Jagat Gurum is very important in this regard. Kashyap Muni did not falsely declare himself to be a Jagat Guru, although he actually was Jagat Guru because he advocated the cause of Vasudeva. Actually, Vasudeva is Jagat Guru, as clearly stated here. Vasudevam Jagat Guru. One who teaches the instructions of Vasudeva, Bhagavad Gita, is as good as Vasudevam Jagat Guru. But when one who does not teach this instruction as it is declares himself Jagat Guru, he simply cheats the public. Krishna is Jagat Guru, and one who teaches the instructions of Krishna as it is on behalf of Krishna may be accepted as Jagat Guru. One who manufactures his own theories cannot be accepted. He becomes Jagat Guru falsely. To say, and Prabhupada used to say there are so many so-called Jagat Gurus and they have never stepped out of India. They call themselves Jagat Guru. No. Only Krishna is Jagat Guru. Krishna is a spiritual master and teacher of the whole world. And the teacher or acharya or preacher or real guru is the one who takes his follower or disciple to Krishna, to serve Krishna, to take shelter of Krishna, to follow the instructions of Krishna. That is a real guru. Not that one who says, oh, you just take shelter of me and I'll take you everywhere to the spiritual world. No. You don't need God, you don't need Krishna, you just chant whatever mantra you want to chant and everything is fine. People like these kind of gurus because this is very cheap and people don't want to pay the price to make advancement. They just want some imitation guru and that's it, so that they can feel better that we also have a guru. And that's it. And our guru says, you do whatever you want. That's okay. Because nobody wants to get up early, chant 16 rounds every day, follow the basic 4 principles. Nobody wants to do that. But the real Guru is the one who takes us to Krishna, nowhere else. Savidhasyati te kaman harir dinanukampana moga bhagavad bhaktir ne tereti matir mama. The Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is very merciful to the poor, will fulfill all of your desires. For devotional service unto Him is infallible. Any method other than devotional service is useless. That is my opinion. Sometimes Krishna also says in Bhagavad Gita, Matir Mama, and people say, oh, this is his opinion. So what's so big deal? This is his opinion. It doesn't mean it's something we have to follow. It's not his instruction. It's just his opinion. So once somebody asked Prabhupada said, if a Supreme Court judge sits in his chamber or in his court and he passes a judgment and he says, this is my opinion, that means this is the final judgment. Whether he calls his opinion, whether he calls it as his judgment or whatever, it's the judgment that we have to follow. That's it. There are 3 kinds of men who are called Akama, Mokshakam, and Sarvakam. One who tries to get liberation from this material world is called Mokshakam. One who wants to enjoy this material world to the fullest extent is called Sarvakam. And one who has fulfilled all his desires and has no further material desires is called Akam. A bhakta has no desire. Sarvapadi vinirmuktam. He is purified and free from material desires. The Mokshakami wants to achieve liberation by merging into the existence of the Supreme Brahman. And because of this desire to merge into the existence of the Lord, he is not very pure. And since those who want liberation are impure, what to speak of the karmis who have so many desires to fulfill? Nonetheless, the Shastra says, Akama sarva kama moksha kama udarati. Whether one desires everything or nothing or desires to merge into the existence of the Lord, he is intelligent only if he worships Lord Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, by rendering devotional service. Kashyap Muni saw that his wife Aditi had some material desires for the welfare of her sons, but still he advised her to render devotional service to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. In other words, everyone, regardless of whether he's a karmi, jnani, yogi, or bhakta, should invariably take shelter of the lotus feet of Vasudeva and render transcendental loving service unto him, so that all his desires will be duly fulfilled. Krishna is Dina Anukampan. He is very merciful to everyone. Therefore, if one wants to fulfill his material desires, Krishna helps him. Of course, sometimes if a devotee is very sincere, the Lord has a special favor to him. This is a special favor. Refuses to fulfill his material desires and directly blesses him with pure, unalloyed devotional service. So Krishna knows what we need, what we really, really need. So if we take shelter of Krishna, then he decides what desires to fulfill, how to fulfill, what desires not to fulfill. It's all up to him. It is said in Chaitanya Charitamrita, Krishna kahe ama bhaje mage vishay sukha, amrita chhadi visha mange ei bada murkha, ami vigyai murkha vishay kenadiba, swa charanaramita, charanamrita, diya vishay bhulaiba. Krishna says, if one engages in my transcendental loving service, but at the same time wants the opulence of material enjoyment, he is very, very foolish. Indeed, he is just like a person who gives up ambrosia. Ambrosia means nectar, to drink poison. Since I am very intelligent, Ami Vigya, I'm very intelligent, Krishna says. Why should I give this fool material prosperity? Instead, I shall induce him to take the nectar of the shelter of my lotus feet and make him forget illusory material enjoyment. If a devotee maintains some material desire and at the same time very sincerely desires to engage at the lotus feet of Krishna, Krishna may directly give him unalloyed devotional service and take away all his material desires and possessions. This is the Lord's special favor to devotees. Otherwise, if one takes to Krishna's devotional service but still has material desires to fulfill, he may become free from all material desires as Dhruv Maharaj did, but this may take some time. However, if a very sincere devotee wants only Krishna's lotus feet, Krishna directly gives him the position of Shuddha Bhakti, unalloyed devotional service. But it comes with such a fine print because every devotee, whether he is a Shuddha Bhakta, whether he is impure, because in the beginning everybody is impure, and whatever desires he has, and whatever consciousness he has, whatever karmas he has, everybody is different. Every single devotee, not even devotee, every single living entity is different. They have their own background. So when we come to the platform of devotional service, and then everybody has different desires. So Krishna has to take care of every devotee individually. It's not like same treatment will work for everybody. So it's Krishna's way of dealing with his devotees. And of course, his dealing is very sweet. It might feel like, oh, he's taken away all my material possessions. Then he must be giving something higher. And if he still want, no, I want my material possessions. I don't want to make that much progress that you are expecting. So it's all up to Krishna. All we have to do is continue with our devotional service. And we have material desires. All of us have material desires. And slowly, Krishna either he will remove them or he will frustrate us in our endeavors to pursue those material desires. Or he might fulfill some of those material desires. We don't know what is he going to do with us. Only thing what we have to do, carry on with our devotional service sincerely. That's all. And then let Krishna decide what he wants. Text 22. Shri Aditya Ruvacha Kenaham Vidhina Brahman Upasthasya Jagatpatim Yata Me Satya Sankalpo Vidadhyat Samanoratham. Srimati Aditi said, O Brahman, tell me the regulative principles by which I may worship the Supreme Master of the world, so that the Lord will be pleased with me and fulfill all my desires. It is said, man proposes, God disposes. Thus a person may desire many things, but unless these desires are fulfilled by the Supreme Personality of Godhead, they cannot be fulfilled. Fulfillment of desires is called Satya Sankalpa. Here the word Satya Sankalpa is very important. Aditi placed herself at the mercy of her husband so that he would give her directions by which to worship the Supreme Personality of Godhead, so that all her desires will be fulfilled. A disciple must first decide that he should worship the Supreme Lord, and then the spiritual master will give the disciple correct directions. One cannot dictate to the spiritual master, just as a patient cannot demand that his physician prescribe a certain type of medicine. Here is the beginning of worship of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. as confirmed in Bhagavad Gita, Chaturveda Bhajante Ma. O best among the Bharats, four kinds of pious men render devotional service unto me. The distressed, the desirer of wealth, the inquisitive, and he who is searching for knowledge of the absolute. Aditi was Artha, a person in distress, just like Gajendra was. She was very much aggrieved because her sons, the demigods, were bereft of everything. Thus she wanted to take shelter of the Supreme Personality of Godhead under the direction of her husband, Kashyap Muni. So in a way, well, she wanted for her sons who are demigods. Demigods are all devotees of Krishna. So we can say that she just wanted to help some devotees. But her desire was material. It was not that I want to please Krishna. Although Krishna himself will become the son of Aditi as Vamandev and help Indra. So a better prayer would have been, Krishna, whatever you decide, I just want to serve you. I just want to please you. But then again, first of all, Krishna has a way of performing his pastimes. And secondly, everybody has a different way of approaching Krishna. So, although Mother Aditi had some material desires as Artha, as a person in distress, but still she is wife of Kashyap Muni and she'll become mother of Vamandev and she'll perform devotional service. And Krishna will fulfill her desires. So in a way, we cannot judge sitting here that no, Aditi was not a pure devotee and this and that. Well, we are nowhere in that standing anyway. Adishtam Dvijshreshtha Vidhim Tad Upadhavanam Ashu Tushyati Me Deva Sidantya Sahaputraka. O best of the Brahmins, kindly instruct me in the perfect method of worshipping the Supreme Personality of Godhead in devotional service, by which the Lord may very soon be pleased with me and save me along with my sons from this most dangerous condition. Sometimes less intelligent men ask whether one has to approach a guru to be instructed in devotional service for spiritual advancement. The answer is given here, indeed, not only here, but also in Bhagavad Gita, where Arjun accepted Krishna as his guru. Shishyaste am shadi mam tvam prapannam. The Vedas also instruct that vijnanartham sa guru me vabhikache. One must accept a guru for proper direction if one is seriously inclined towards advancement in spiritual life. The Lord says that one must worship the Acharya, who is the representative of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. One should definitely understand this. In Chaitanya Charitamrita, it is said that the Guru is a manifestation of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Therefore, according to all the evidence given by the Shastra and by the practical behavior of devotees, one must accept a Guru. A Guru means a bona fide Guru. Aditi accepted her husband as a guru so that he would direct her how to advance in spiritual consciousness, devotional service by worshipping the Supreme Lord. Shri Kashyap Uvacha Etan me Bhagwan Prishta Praja Kamasya Padmaja Yadahate Pravakshyami Vritam Keshava Toshanam. Shri Kashyap Muni said, when I desired offspring, I placed inquiries before Lord Brahma, who was born from a lotus flower. Now I shall explain to you the same process Lord Brahma instructed me, by which Keshav, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, is satisfied. Here, the process of devotion service is further explained. Kashyap Muni wanted to instruct Aditi in the same process recommended to him by Brahma for satisfying the Supreme Personality of Godhead. This is valuable. The Guru does not manufacture a new process to instruct the disciple. The disciple receives from the Guru an authorized process received by the Guru from his Guru, means in the disciplic succession. This is called the system of disciplic succession. This is the bona fide Vedic system of receiving the process of devotional service by which the Supreme Personality of Godhead is pleased. Therefore, to approach a bona fide Guru or spiritual master is essential. The bona fide spiritual master is he who has received the mercy of his Guru, who in turn is bona fide because he has received the mercy of his Guru. This is called the Parampara system. Unless one follows this Parampara system, the mantra one receives will be chanted for no purpose. Nowadays, there are so many rascal gurus who manufacture their mantras as a process of material advancement, not spiritual advancement. Still, the mantra cannot be successful if it is manufactured. Mantras and the process of devotional service are special power, provided they are received from the authorized person. So we are very fortunate that we are receiving all this knowledge and everything from mercy of Srila Prabhupada, who is in the Guru Parampara. So in this way, the philosophy or the knowledge we are receiving is perfect knowledge. All we have to do is follow the process, that's all. Falgunasya pakshe dwadashaham payovritam archayedar vindaksham bhaktya paramayan vitaha. In the bright fortnight of the month of Falgun, February-March, for 12 days, ending with Dwadashi, one should observe the vow of subsisting only on milk and should worship the lotus-eyed Supreme Personality of Godhead with all devotion. Worshipping the Supreme Lord Vishnu with devotion means following Archana Marg, Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu Smaranam, etc. One should install the deity of Lord Vishnu or Krishna and worship him nicely by dressing him, decorating him with flower garlands and offering all kinds of fruits, flowers and cooked food, nicely prepared with ghee, sugar and grains. One should also offer a flame, incense and so on, while ringing a bell as prescribed. This is called worship of the Lord. Here it is recommended that one observe the vow of subsisting only by drinking milk. So for 12 days. This is called the Payovrata. As we generally perform devotion service on Ekadashi by not eating grains, it is generally recommended that on Dwadashi one not consume anything but milk. Payovrata and Archana devotional service to the Supreme Lord should be performed with a pure devotional attitude, bhaktya. Without bhakti, one cannot worship the Supreme Personality of Godhead. If one wants to know the Supreme Personality of Godhead and be directly connected with him, knowing what he wants to eat and how he is satisfied, one must take to the process of bhakti. As recommended here also, bhaktya paramayan vitaha. One should be surcharged with unalloyed devotional service. So the vrata, Kashyap Muni is telling, but it has to be done with all devotion, not mechanically. So 12 days of drinking only milk and worshipping the lotus-eyed Supreme Personality of Godhead. Sinivalyam hridalipya snayat krod vidiranaya yadi labhyeta vas srotasyetam mantramudirayet. If dirt dug up by a boar is available on the day of dark moon, one should smear this dirt on his body and then bathe in a flowing river. While bathing, one should chant the following mantra. Tvam devyadivarahen rasaya sthanamichata udhritasi namastubhyam papamanam me pranashaya. O Mother Earth, you were raised by the Supreme Personality of Godhead in the form of a boar because of your desiring to have a place to stay. I pray that you kindly vanquish all the reactions of my sinful life. I offer my respectful obeisances unto you. Nirvartitatmaniyamo nevam archet samahita archayam sandile surye jale vahano guravapi. Thereafter, one should perform his daily spiritual duties and then, with great attention, offer worship to the deity of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and also to the altar, the sun, fire, water, and the spiritual master. Namastubhyam Bhagavate Purushaya Mahiyase Sarvabhuta Nivasaya Vasudevaya Sakshine. O Supreme Personality of Godhead, greatest of all, who lives in everyone's heart and in whom everyone lives. O witness of everything, O Vasudeva, supreme and all-pervading person, I offer my respectful obeisances unto you. So different prayers one has to recite. Namo Avyaktaya Sukshmaya Pradhan Purushaya Cha Chaturvinshad Gunagyaya Gunasankhyan Hetave. I offer my respectful obeisances unto you, the Supreme Person. Being very subtle, you are never visible to the material eyes. You are the knower of the 24 elements, and you are the inaugurator of the Sankhya Yoga system. Chaturvinshad Guna, the 24 elements, are the 5 gross elements: earth, water, fire, air, ether, the 3 subtle, mind, intelligence, false ego, the 10 senses, 5 for working and 5 for acquiring knowledge, the 5 sense objects, and contaminated consciousness. So these are the 24 elements. These are the subject matter of Sankhya Yoga, which was inaugurated by Lord Kapil Dev. This Sankhya Yoga was again propounded by another Kapila, but he was an atheist, and his system is not accepted as bona fide. Because besides these 24 elements, Lord Kapil Dev, as we studied, he also said about soul and the super soul. But the atheist Kapil Dev, he did not talk about super soul. Namo Dvishirshane Tripade Chatushruaye Tantave Saptahastaya Yagyaya Traividyatmane Namaha. I offer my respectful obeisances unto you, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who have 2 heads, Prayaniya and Udayaniya, 3 legs, Savantraya, 4 horns, the 4 Vedas, and 7 hands, 7 chandas, such as Gayatri. I offer my obeisances unto you, whose heart and soul are 3 Vedic rituals, Karma Kanda, Jnana Kanda, and Upasana Kanda, and who expands these rituals in the form of sacrifice. So this is about the personality of sacrifice, how we do sacrifice or yajna. Namah Shivaya Rudraya, Namah Shakti Dharaya Cha, Sarva Vidyadi Patiye, Bhutanam Patiye Namaha. I offer my respectful obeisances unto you, Lord Shiva, Rudra, who are the reservoir of all potencies, the reservoir of all knowledge, and the master of everything. It's a system for one to offer obeisances unto the expansion or incarnation of the Lord. Lord Shiva is the incarnation of ignorance, one of the material modes of nature. So Kashyap Muni is saying, pray obeisances to Lord Shiva also. Namo Hiranya Garbhaya, Pranaya Jagadatmane, Yogeshwarya Shariraya, Namaste Yoga Hetave. I offer my respectful obeisances unto you, who are situated as Hiranya Garbha, the source of life, the super soul of every living entity. Your body is the source of the opulence of all mystic power. I offer my respectful obeisances unto you. Namastadi Devaya Sakshi Bhutaya Te Namaha Narayanaya Rishe Naraya Harai Namah. I offer my respectful obeisances unto you who are the original personality of Godhead, the witness in everyone's heart, and the incarnation of Naranarayana Rishi in the form of a human being. O personality of Godhead, I offer my respectful obeisances unto you. Namo Markatya Shyama Vapushe Adhigat Shriye Desh Keshvaya Namastubhyam Namaste Pitavasase. My Lord, I offer my respectful obeisances unto you who are dressed in yellow garments, whose bodily hue resembles a market gem and who have full control over the goddess of fortune. O my Lord Keshav, I offer my respectful obeisances unto you. Let's see how many verses are there. Oh, it's long. Tvam sarva varada pumsam varenya varadarishab ataste shreyase dhira padarenum upasate. O most exalted and worshipable Lord, best of those who bestow benediction, you can fulfill the desires of everyone, and therefore those who are sober for their own welfare worship the dust of your lotus feet. Anvavartanta yamadeva shrishcha statpad padmayo sprayanta ivamodam bhagwan me prasidatam. All the demigods as well as the goddess of fortune engage in the service of his lotus feet. Indeed, they respect the fragrance of those lotus feet. May the Supreme Personality of Godhead be pleased with me. Etar mantra rishikesham ahavan puruskritam archayet shriddhaya yukta padyopasparshanadibhi. Kashyap Muni continued by chanting all these mantras, welcoming the Supreme Personality of Godhead with faith and devotion and offering him items of worship such as Padya and Arghya. One should worship Keshav, Rishikesh, Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So offering him Padya, Arghya, etc. means we offer him items by which we wash his lotus feet, we wash his lotus hands, and for him to do achman, for him to drink. There's so many upcharas, so many things we offer when we do the worshiping of the deities. It's amazing. And then if somebody says, oh, you're doing only Murti Puja, then he's crazy. His deity is the Lord himself. And if you learn the different ways of doing worshipping, the Lord reciprocates also. The Lord always reciprocates. It's a beautiful relationship, actually. Architva gandha malyadhya payasa snapayet vibhum vastropavita bhavita bharana padyopasaparshnestata gandha dhup adi bheshcharche dvadashakshar vidyaya. In the beginning, the devotee should chant a Dwadashakshar mantra and offer flower garlands, incense, and so on. After worshipping the Lord in his way, one should bathe the Lord with milk and dress him with proper garments, a sacred thread, and ornaments. After offering water to wash the Lord's lotus feet, one should again worship the Lord with fragrant flowers, incense, and other paraphernalia. The Dwadash Akshar mantra is Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. While worshipping the deity, one should ring a bell with his left hand and offer Padya, Arghya, Vastra, Gandha, Mala, Abharan, Bhushan, and so on. In this way, one should bathe the Lord with milk, dress him, and again worship him with all paraphernalia. And this devotees do, pujaris do every day. Shritam payasi naivedyam shalyanam vibhave sati sasarpi sargudam tattva juhuyan mula vidyaya. If one can afford to, one should offer the deity fine rice boiled in milk with clarified butter and molasses. While chanting the same original mantra, one should offer all this to the fire. So rice boiled in milk with butter and molasses means make kheer, and offer to the Lord. Niveditam tad bhaktaya dadyad bhunjita va swayam dattat chaman architva tambulam cha nivedayet. One should offer all the prasad to a Vaishnava or offer him some of the prasad and then takes some oneself. After this, one should offer the deity, Achaman, and then betel nut, and then again worship the Lord. So betel nut, tambul, pan is offered to the Lord. Of course, we don't eat that, but it is offered. Jape dashtota sharatar shatam stuvita stutibhi prabham kritva pradakshinam bhumo pranam ed dandavan muda. Thereafter, one should silently murmur that mantra 108 times, and offer prayers to the Lord for his glorification. Then one should circumambulate the Lord and finally, with great delight and satisfaction, offer obeisances, falling straight like a rod, dandavat. So this is all process of worship. And in South India, especially where Ramanujacharya established the temples and the deities, Sri Sampradaya, they are really very strict in their offerings, in the deity worship. Well, that is why when he went to Jagannath Puri, and Jagannath Puri, it's a different style of deity worship. They are whatever Lord Jagannath wants, and they have their own scriptures. They don't follow all this Narad Pancharatra system that Ramanujacharya established. So Ramanujacharya could not understand. He said, why are they doing it this way? And then Lord Jagannath came to his dream at night. Of course, Ramanujacharya did not say it to anybody. He just thought in his heart, why they do that? This is not the way to worship the Lord. So Lord Jagannath came in his dream at night, and in his dream, Lord Jagannath kicked him, saying, Jagannath Puri, whatever happens, this is what I want, not what you want. This is the way I want in Jagannath Puri. And he kicked him in the dream. Of course, that's a loving relationship between the Lord and his devotee. And Ramanujacharya, in his dream, he saw him going to Kurma Kshetra or Sri Rangam in South India. And he woke up in South India, in Sri Rangam. And so Lord Jagannath, although he kicked him in the dream, but he literally, in reality, sent him to Sri Rangam. And then Ramanujacharya never came back to Jagannath Puri. That system is different. It is different. It is really different. But this is how the Lord wants. What can we do? So, but it's a very beautiful, very pure system. And one really develops love for the Lord when we are doing all these services every single day, and with so much of love and devotion and gratefulness. And then the Lord is really pleased, really, really pleased with the devotees. So anyway, the process goes on, and we'll take it up tomorrow. See anybody has any questions or comments.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Please accept
Hare Krishna. Please accept mine.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Prabhuji. Prabhuji, I wanted to understand it. What is the significance of the number 108?
Oh, 108 for us, Gaudiya Vaishnavas. there are 108 special gopis. And so when we chant on those beads with 108 beads, so means we are chanting and praying to every gopi to engage me in the service of Krishna, Radha and Krishna. And then there is after 8 beads, 8 bigger beads, right? If you notice your chanting beads, they go in bigger to smaller or smaller to bigger, but the 8 bigger beads, after 8, then there is again a thread is attached on the beads or on the thread connecting the beads. So it means those 8 beads represent the very special 8 Ashtasakhi. And the one bead, there is center bead that represents Krishna bead. That's why we don't jump over that bead. So when we end mala, we turn around and go back. So basic idea is, yes, we are praying to all the gopis to give us that mood of serving Krishna, Radha and Krishna. So for us, that's why 108 is important. But there must be many other reasons why 108 in the Vedic text it is mentioned. Is it okay?
Yes, Guruji, thank you very much. Also, it is mentioned that we should chant mantra 108 times silently, murmur. So, is there any specific reason behind it to chant silently, or like in this particular verse only Lord said like that? Because ideally we are asked to chant loudly. So, loud chanting is better, or silent chanting is more effective?
In Nectar of Devotion, Rupa Goswami has mentioned there are 3 types of chanting. So one is very loud, which is Sankirtan, when we chant and dance, that's Sankirtan. Then one is our japa. So when we do the japa, it should not be very loud that it disturbs everybody else. That japa is our prayers or our talk, our feelings, our expression to the Lord. So that japa should be loud enough that we chant and we only hear. And then there is the silent chanting. That is when we don't even say anything and it goes on in the mind. So for us, because we are not that expert that we can chant in the mind and not fall asleep, and at the same time, we cannot chant too loudly like Sankirtan. And in the Kirtan, you chant as loudly. But when we're doing japa, it should be like we are chanting and we are listening. We should not be disturbing anybody else.
Oh, yes, I understood now. Because Sankirtana Yagya, when we say, so that is like Harinam Sankirtan along with congregational like devotees. So that is I read it actually, that is effective for even all the plants, animals, all the other creatures also, if we loudly chant, so they also get benefited.
Yeah, that definitely is. But when we are chanting our japa, that is different. That should not be too loud.
Understood, Prabhuji. Thank you so much, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
You will. Hare Krishna. Okay, so I guess we can stop here. You all have a safe and wonderful day. Hare Krishna. Jai Shila Prabhupada.
Hare Krishna, Jai Shila Prabhupada.